Okay, then how was the victim Mr. Bullard at the time? What do you mean by how was he? Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place. That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright? God damn it, what? Forget it. Thanks for a whole load of nothing there. Crap, that was like that was the one I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna push on. I definitely want to press on that. Suddenly a hand on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. What do you mean by a bit dazed specifically? Your forehead? Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack. Only just the shadow that just looks like Detective Atme. So I'm just imagining him just like running, like crouching, just popping up and then hitting him in the face with something. Do you remember anything about who hit you? Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So I think I was a little dazed for a while. I don't think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking. Yeah, I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. Hey, come on, Phoenix. We can't be doing that in courtrooms. Maybe that would knock some sense back into him. I'm worrying that I would have been killed. Are you talking about your mask or your hat? That? Could you please clarify as to what you're referring to? Why, my mask-to-mask costume, of course. That is a pretty sturdy-looking mask, I guess. Wait just a moment. Mask-to-mask? Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as mask-to-mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. What? Nick, did you know about this? He never told me about this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either. Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets. So just everyone's in shock in the background, just like, oh god, what is happening? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind? Huh. My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. Okay. Just press all that just because it changed. Why were you dressed up? Yeah. That is an interesting point there. Why were you dressed as mask-to-mask? Wasn't the whole thing just a minute ago like he didn't have any dirt on you about you being mask-to-mask? So him sending you a blackmail about knowing your secret, and then you coming in as mask-to-mask? It's a little dumb to me. I'm a little confused now. Why, because I'm mask-to-mask, of course. What are you talking about? We're having a trial in the other courtroom. There's another me in there right now. Mask-to-mask trial is being held next door. Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at the time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the mask-to-mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean, took a lot longer? Press R? I kind of want to know what took longer. That's pretty important. Was there like a delay with him getting there? Was maybe he wasn't there at 1 AM then. Maybe he was there after the murder happened. Let's press harder. What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. Oh. Oh god, is he talking about when he shoved the body in the safe? Please don't mention this in court. I'm trying to prove you innocent, man. You can't tell them you put the body in a safe. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see? This all happened with... Oh, no! I knew this was gonna happen. I fucked up. I fucked up. God damn it. Oh, I should have thought about that. This is not gonna end well. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. What was that? Back up a second. Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe? Well, yeah. Inconceivable. Oh no. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? What? The answer is simple. When they take them off. As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hit the body because he's the murderer? Huh. So you're not as stupid as you look. Stupid pointy hair. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Well, no. Yes. Why am I the only one not in the loop here? That's because you're not supposed to know the information. We just give it. You're not supposed to know beforehand. We have to tell you, Judge. Witness, make sure you add this to your testimony. Yes, sir. Uh-oh, it looks like a storm front is moving over the Fairweather Judge. Oh boy. I Bennington hit the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet you he's hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. I don't know, he's made it all as complicated as he needs to by now. Did I press on this? I don't think I pressed on this one. I'm gonna press on this first and then we'll go into what I was thinking earlier. When you came to. Yes, I was passed out in the corner of the room. Do you know when your assailant made their escape and to where? I'm afraid I don't really remember. Huh? Once they hit me, I lost all track of what was going on. I think that's when they made their escape. Huh. That's certainly a convenient story for you, isn't it? It certainly is, isn't it? Mr. Wright, it's almost sounds practiced. I don't know why you're telling me. I'm thinking... Let's just... Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects to the CEO of the security office. If the button is, in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once, at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as the buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Okay, yes, this is what I was thinking. I just couldn't articulate it correctly for some odd reason. I felt like I was at a loss of words trying to explain my thought process here. So basically, yeah, like, if he was the murderer and the security buzzer went off, and I remember it saying it went off at the time of the murder, and then I remembered it when he said he was there for 10 minutes, and then you think that the buzzer went off. If you killed somebody, you wouldn't stay there when a security buzzer went off. There we go. Huh. Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about him. Oh god, the deep injection again. But, as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser, who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend, and wasn't anywhere near the vicinity, was not something Mr. Delight could have known. Huh. Again. Remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. The buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Is that 107 again? Fine. Let's hear your theory. Remember the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted. That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzard had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was knocked out Ron Delight and pressed the buzzer. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard. The one who pressed the buzzer? Then the one, then who did it? It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What's your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need proof that the real criminal was there at the crime scene, but how? Okay, so... what does this say? Connected to the basement. There are no fingerprints on it. Yeah. Yep, right there. Actually, let me check something real quick before I make this claim. Crap, where's... do we have a picture of the dead body? He's not a guy who wears gloves. Yeah, he's not a guy who wears gloves. There were no fingerprints. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. The piece of evidence proves... The piece of evidence proves that it wasn't... Oh, what? Oh man, it's been a long day. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzard. It's because he didn't have gloves on. He's not a man who wears gloves. You could just tell by looking at him and his style of suit. You wouldn't wear gloves with that. So yeah, no fingerprints. I vaguely remembered that. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency button. The emergency button. Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. Not a single speck of dirt on it or anything. Somebody must have been shining that. Hey, come on now. At least give me thought to what you say. Give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Now I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind. Whew. Ron Delight obviously wiped them off. But we just said he didn't know about the buzzer going off, so why would he wipe? Why would he wipe it off or try to clean it or anything? Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment. He touched that button. I know he did. The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask to Mask. And Mask to Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have to wipe the button for your fingerprints? Order, order, order. Huh. It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow. I wonder what blend number of crow flavored coffee is. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency button? Yes, just leave it at that. Why would he press the emergency button? There we go. You know what? Just renaming the button. It's now emergency butter. I cannot speak English today, so You know, just gonna keep going on with this. Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves into extra danger? Cough, cough. What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden? Well, I mean, it may be a couple things, you know, the fact that you made a decent point there, Judge. Huh. It looks like you're fresh, out of parlor tricks. They're onto you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard around 1 a.m. And Mr. Light just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzard. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond? Huh. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well then. Oh, you've got some guts. I'd like that in an opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? Huh. They didn't mean to. No, that didn't happen. To find out what it... Oh. I'm sitting here just like, okay, I gotta think about this question, and then it's just like, the top and bottom options are clearly wrong. Here, just, okay. Yeah, to call the security guard then. The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes, although, as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Huh. What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No, he did it to frame Master Mask. No, I'm not. When the buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron DeLight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer. Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron DeLight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron DeLight for the murder. Whew. Oh, that must have been some coffee there, man. Order, order, order. Huh. It would seem. How many cups is that now? I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait. Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mass, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're gonna drag that person in here right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity. And they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Huh, now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron DeLight for the murder of Kane Bullard? Oh boy. I knew all along it was you. God damn it, Larry. No, oh goodness. Oh. Detective Luke at me. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace Detective. Look at me. You mean Master Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in court next to us is not Master Mask at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Order, order. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is much more serious a crime. Of course.